What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back for the My Team Journey episode number 30 for the Belgian Grand Prix. We've had the summer break, we're back now, we're refreshed and ready, raring to go to see what we can get in this season of career mode. P3 in the Constructors is the aim, and now we have the support, we have the backing of Porsche joining as a minor partner for Marduk Motorsport. That is absolutely huge. You can see them on the front nose there. They're also present on the rear wing. And I've got to say, big shout out to Mark Webber for being the middleman, introducing these two worlds to collide, to collaborate, and make something awesome happen. I think the dream is to have these guys become a major partner, major sponsor of the team. That would be absolutely incredible. Hell, maybe even fully fledged manufacturer support from Porsche to level us up to go for the Constructors Championship. That would be the absolute dream. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll continue to impress, we'll continue to improve, and see what we can do in this season of career mode. Wouldn't it be crazy if we could poach Porsche away from potentially Red Bull, who Porsche are looking at in real life? Let's see if we can beat them to the punch and well, get them to supply our engines or something. That would be absolutely manic. Either way, thank you guys for tuning in once again. We're heading into another race of this career mode. Unfortunately, not much time to really get any upgrades on, at least performance-wise. Things we can really do at the moment are all kind of major, so it's tricky to squeeze anything on, both in terms of actually affordability, but time-wise before the Belgian Grand Prix. We do have the summer break actually to deal with in this episode, so that doesn't leave us with much lead time to get upgrades on, but we do manage to squeeze I think it was an energy store upgrade on, so we'll see if that's successful or not. We do get a tire wear upgrade heading into this race, some second driver training going on as well, and that is the summer break dealt with. We now head into this next race of career mode with not much in the way of upgrades, unfortunately, but those bigger upgrades will be coming to fruition in future episodes. So the top four teams kind of stretch away from us ever so slightly. Mercedes especially making big strides over the summer break. So they'll be the favorites potentially for the drivers and the constructors if that momentum can keep up. It's really wide open at this stage. It's been a really weird season. McLaren have been, favorites at some point. Now Mercedes are up there. Ferrari started off very well, and then Red Bull have ever been consistent through Max Verstappen, and I think he's still leading the Drivers' Championship. So it really is anyone's game. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. This second half of the season is going to be absolutely crucial. Who's going to put the most resources behind developing this year's car to be the best? We'll have to wait and see. It's time for quali. Right, here we are for qualifying for the Belgian Grand Prix. Again, it is a slight livery change, but I think you can forgive me for just adding in one extra sponsor. Mark Webber, absolute GOAT, absolute OG, working behind the scenes to level up this team. He wants a Drivers' Championship as well. He wants a Constructors' Championship, and bringing in the backing of Porsche is only going to help increase those chances. I don't think we're any chance this season, even me, of winning the Drivers' Championship, but we're laying the foundations for Seasons 3, Seasons 4, and who knows, maybe it'll be a thing. Mark is certainly showing the pace at this stage, going purple in Q1 with a 1 minute 42.6. Let's see if we can follow through with some similar pace. Running with a really low downforce setup. I don't know if you guys saw that about 15 seconds ago. I think we're running with 8.6 or 8.5 wings, something really low, really ridiculous. We're not going to be very competitive through Sector 2 where all the high-speed corners are, but Sectors 1 and 3 where all the overtaking is done will set us up really nicely. But for the time being, taking these first few laps to get accustomed to the setup. This is still our first run. This is the very next lap after our first one. A bit of wheel spin out of the last corner, but we do improve by a tenth and a half to still maintain our position inside the top 10. More people have set times, and we get demoted down to 18th place. Albeit, we're only 1.2 seconds away from pole, so if we can get a good time in here, then I think we'll be okay. Through turn 1, we managed to pick up an entire 10th. So I think there is potential for us to get out of Q1 fairly comfortably. We just need to buck up our ideas, as Alex Gillen says, and just get the time in. So we'll see what we can do. The field is very, very close at this stage. There's not much separating the top guys from even the back markers at this point. Everyone has developed really nicely. You can see that was a big old snap of oversteer. Thankfully, we didn't get done for track limits because this is our last lap, our last chance at it. And an invalidation there would have been catastrophic for our chances this weekend. Anyway, we're up by half a second. That's what new tyres and a fresh perspective is with a better lap and a more rubbered-in circuit. It's resulted in a massive improvement as we round the last chicane. It will be nearly an 9 tenths, a second. As we cross the line, we go inside the top 10. It is P9, only 4 tenths away from Max Verstappen with a 1 minute 41.4. So there's the pace. We've showcased that Mark Webber only 2 tenths away from front-running pace, and that's in Q1. So as we continue to improve, as the track continues to improve, and we get our eye in with the circuit a little bit more, I think we could be right up there in the mix to fight for pole position. There are so many teams in the mix here to be starting on pole. It's absolutely incredible. So we're going to lower the fuel load. We're not going to change the setup. I think I did change the tire pressures just to deal with that a little bit better. So yeah, as long as we can get a good lap in, then I think there's a lot of potential here. So let's see what we can do. We've not done a run so far in Q2. I wanted to just do one run on a brand new set of tires. Almost no point using a used set of softs because used tires are just so far off, especially at a long circuit like this. We do go purple sector 1, which is kind of what we expect, to be honest, running such low downforce. So let's see if we can hold on in sector 2. That seems to be our troublesome part of the circuit. Keeping an eye on tire temps here because tire pressures are very crucial. I think, at least from my experience, keeping the tires under 100 degrees, around 95 degrees, 96, 97, I think is the sweet spot. Some league racers or esports drivers can correct me on that, but yeah, I think we're just about in the sweet spot here. I don't want to have the tires go above 100 degrees. That's when I think you start to see some drop off in tire performance. Either way, we're green to sector 1. Actually, we were purple. Now it's green. Either way, we're green sector 1, sector 2. Let's see if we can hook it all up in sector 3. This is actually my best lap of the entire weekend. So even if we do make it into Q3, the lap that I do won't be as good as this one. Into the final chicane, and it's just been a really good lap. It's been no nonsense. It's been really tidy. We cross the line, and we go provisional pole position for the Belgian Grand Prix. A 1 minute 41.2 is by far the best time set all weekend. Verstappen did a 1:41.4 in Q1, so that pace has really just come out of nowhere, and unfortunately Mark didn't get the lap together that he needed to see himself through to Q3. I think the time that he did in Q1 would have been good enough to get into Q3. So Mark has dropped the ball there. We've pulled out an absolutely stonking lap out of our you-know-where, and we've stuck it on provisional pole. So that was my best time all weekend. Unfortunately, as we head into Q3, I didn't manage to hook up a lap that was as sweet as that one. We cross the line, and we do go 2 tenths slower. So it's not pole position, it is P2. Unfortunately, Fernando Alonso went even faster than my Q2 time by, 200ths of a second. So, yeah. Fernando on pole. We're on the front row of the grid, which I absolutely can't complain about. But I said, guys, the potential was there. Earlier on in the weekend, we just needed to get our eye in, and we've done so, and we're starting on the front row. So, P2 is actually the new pole position at Spa. We can slipstream, we can DRS, and maybe slingshot our way into the lead of the race on lap 1 at Lecom. That's the plan. Let's see if we can execute it. Time for the race.
Welcome along then to the Belgian Grand Prix. The race that gave us the maiden victory to the Jordan team in 1998, and in the same team, the phenomenal debut of a young Michael Schumacher. There's always something special just around one of the many corners of this fan-favourite circuit. Spa-Francorchamps then is a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Fernando Alonso lines up on pole position, and Benjamin completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Perez, Max Verstappen and Magnussen, Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz and George Russell, Webber, Gasly, Mick Schumacher and Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Ocon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Robert Schwartzman and Oscar Piastri, Albon, Stroll, Latifi and Guan Yu Zhou. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix. Let's have a chat about McLaren. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Well, team morale is one thing. Will they be able to keep it if they continue to slide in this championship? Yeah, Fernando Alonso needs some work to do if he wants to tackle over or topple over Max Verstappen's lead in the standings. We are somewhat of a speed bump for the McLaren team today. P2 on the grid, Alonso on pole. We want to go out and win this race. We're gunning for 3 race wins in a row. Can you believe? Such is our form. We're looking very good. Initially, I was going to start on the soft. I don't care. I was going to start on the soft, but very last minute, I decided to switch to the medium. I saw the soft as a little bit too much of a risk, so we're going to run the same strategy as Alonso. I feel like we have the pace. We showed really good pace in qualifying. Normally, we're faster in the races. We've got a car that's more suited or set up for a race scenario, getting into the lead, defending, overtaking with our low downforce. If we're leading this race, then I think we're a really solid chance of winning the Grand Prix. I'm not too sure if there's anyone in this field who can match our straight line speed. So we'll have to wait and see as we gear up for the start of this race. Like I said, no one's running as low downforce as me. Not even my teammate. He's gone for a higher downforce setup. Let's see if he can make his way through the order. So here we go. First race back from the summer break. Can we get 3 wins in a row in this season of career mode? That is almost unheard of from me. 5 red lights and we are underway for the Belgian Grand Prix. Looks like a great start compared to Fernando Alonso. If I'm honest, my fingers slipped and I thought I was going to jump the start, but the game really looked after me and the lights went out at the perfect time. Either way, we don't lead the race. We were unable to convert down into turn 1, but we're close enough to Alonso to have a go heading into the Lecombe chicane, which was as planned. Into overtake mode we go in the slipstream of Fernando Alonso. There's not much he can do to defend against this. We go round the outside on this opening lap and we take the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Absolutely crucial to our game plan of winning this race. If we're behind Alonso, it makes it a lot more difficult to win this race. Alonso getting wayward as we head down into the... Oh, Alonso out of nowhere! Straight up the inside into the right-hander. And I gotta say, that was nuts. He was so far back. He was like 2 or 3 tenths behind me. Heading into here, he's had the mother of all dive bombs. And I've just had to take avoiding action to make sure that we both survive that incident. Alonso diving in here like his championship depends on it. And he gets up the inside. Thankfully, we had the presence of mind. Rare occasion to actually see him coming. That proximity arrow lit up very quickly. So I jumped straight out of the way like an AI would. So what goes around comes around. I've been dishing this out to the AI for years. And now, in the form of Fernando Alonso, dishing it out to me. So, yeah, what a manic half a lap it's been. Only half a lap of this race. And we've seen incredible drama. First warning of the race. I know I was a bit lucky with some of my track limits in qualifying. I did run wide here or there, but the game didn't pick it up. It's a little bit weird, actually. If you track extend by a millimeter, you often get a warning. But if you track extend and kind of stay off the circuit sometimes, you might get lucky and not get a warning at all. So it really is a bit RNG, I'd say, to be honest. First lap is one and done. Fernando, obviously the big winner out of that. Fighting, honestly, like his championship depends on it. It's almost like Max Verstappen-like in 2021, where he was going for savage gaps, savage dive bombs. He is the man kind of on the back foot at this stage, is Fernando Alonso. Max Verstappen's down the order a little bit, and he's got to make the most of this position that he's in, leading the Grand Prix. But we are proving to be a massive thorn in his side. We are staying with him, going purple to the first sector, and it almost looks like we're ditching the rest of the field. So, in essence, myself and Fernando stepping it up a gear to a point where no one else can really match us. Actually, Alonso has dropped us by quite a bit on this lap, as we're seeing a replay. This is Yuki Tsunoda running a bit wide, getting on the gravel, and then reversing just off the racing line. That's not dangerous at all. Not at all. What's going on there? I've seen some silly moves from the AI, but that is right up there. Also, my former teammate Piastri is missing his front wing, so it's all kicking off here in Spa, and it's only lap 2. Absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, that was a really good lap from Fernando last time by. 3/10 clear of us. So at least the early pace from Fernando is looking very good, but from this lap onwards, we should have some DRS, and that's absolutely crucial. That's why I burned a lot of my battery at this stage, because I know the DRS is coming up. I think next lap we'll have DRS. So crucial to be within 1 second. That's a massive run wide there. I guess we lost time and the game recognized it, so we didn't get a warning there. Otherwise, we'd be on 2 warnings. But otherwise, we are just about, actually, we've fallen outside of 1 second to Fernando Alonso. But thankfully, we've got Sector 3 coming up, which is favorable for me and my setup. So hopefully, with a lot of battery usage here, we'll be able to claw back within 1 second and get the DRS the next time by. And it's actually worked. We're within a second and quickly closing that in Sector 3 and especially Sector 1 now. Here we go up the Eau Rouge Radillon section. DRS is now open, and that means we can just chill out a little bit more. We can afford to save actually a bit of battery and gear up for an all-out assault on the McLaren driver. So for the time being, we're just going to settle ourselves and maybe look after the rear tires a little bit, charge out that battery, and then make an assault for the lead of the Grand Prix. Because it's one thing getting into the lead, it's another thing to then pull away and try and build out a margin to win the race. So that's what we're going to try and do. I want to be able to have the pace, the consistency to edge away from the McLaren driver and make this a comfortable victory. But I don't think any victory is ever truly comfortable in Formula 1. So we've got to have our wits about us here. I think we'll have better tyre wear potentially than these guys as the Grand Prix unfolds. I've recognized that tyre wear is quite an important component to setting up a race-winning, championship-winning car, and yeah, thankfully we did do a tyre upgrade heading into this race. So I guess we can afford to be a bit patient, but you know, I don't want to wait all day. That's for sure. Anyway, DRS on Alonso. He's going defensive. We're going to go on the inside into the Lecombe chicane. He goes late under brakes, and he's got more brake upgrades. We try to do the switchback, but he's pretty much forced us to go round the outside. Turns to the inside for the next right-hander. We squeeze him onto the ripple strip there, as you can see, and he goes round the outside. He is so good under brakes going downhill into that right-hander. Must have more brake upgrades than me, because I just simply can't do what he can do in that car. But we take the lead of the Grand Prix, and it looks like we're going to hold it. 1 second is the margin. He's quickly closing that down in Sector 2, but Sector 3 is all us, baby. Unfortunately, I didn't push too hard with the battery on this occasion. I just want to see what the pace is like, and that's a massive back-end loss. So Alonso is going to be right on our tail again, and I suppose it's a good thing I didn't use all my battery, because now he's overtaking me into turn 1. This time, unfortunately, Fernando, you've gone in too deep. You've rinsed that brake pedal a little bit too much, and yeah, you're starting to see the consequences of that. Up the inside into turn 1. I wonder if he's getting maybe a long brake pedal after all those heavy stopping power moments he's had in that car. It's only lap 6, so let's hope for his sake he hasn't absolutely rinse those pads and rotors. Either way, we still have the lead of the Grand Prix for now. We played it very calmly, very composed in that squabble with Alonso. And even here with DRS for the McLaren driver, unable to overtake us in a straight line. So this might be game, set, and match for the race win today. Maybe. I don't want to speak too soon. We still have the pit stop. We still have the strategy. There could be safety cars. There could be a whole manner of things which are going to be a thorn in our side in this race. But at least initially, it doesn't look like Fernando can do anything on the straights. Not on the DRS straight, but especially not on the run into the bus stop chicane where there is no DRS. So we've really set up this car nicely. Oh, God. I'm not driving well right now. I got into the lead of the race and I've maybe lost my head a little bit because Alonso's all... Okay, this race win is certainly not done yet. I've got to get good, basically, get some consistency going, because if I don't smarten up, then I'm going to lose this lead of the Grand Prix. Alonso really close, too close, actually. He runs wide at Pouon, and Sergio Perez streaks through for P2 in this Belgian Grand Prix. Absolutely crucial for the Mexican. He now has P2 in this race and a clear shot at potentially getting a race win in this season of career mode. Got to remember, the Mercedes is actually the best car in the performance index, much faster than the McLaren. So if anything, I actually might have a harder time keeping Sergio Perez behind me. So now is going to be the true test. He's not exactly close. He's half a second back. He does have DRS. We use a little bit of ERS in defense, but in the end, even the Mercedes can't get close to us in a straight line. Here's my teammate in P11, P12, still trying to grind away, still trying to catch up to the next group of cars. I actually have backed off a little bit in an effort to look after my tyres. You can see Sergio, oh, he has a lockup as well. Much like Fernando Alonso carts himself wide, he's still going to be in P2 for now. But yeah, guys, because I've got such supremacy in a straight line, I'm just kind of chilling a little bit in Sector 2. I mean, I'm not backing it off massively, but I am just driving at a nice consistent pace through the middle sector. The AI can't really overtake me there because of the dirty air, because of the nature of the high-speed corners. All they can do is really sit in behind. So I'm looking after my tyre wear. I'm putting myself in a position of ascendancy later on in the race so that I can have fresher tyres. I know I've got the pace. I know I can't be overtaken in a straight line, so it makes sense to look after the tyres to give ourselves options in just a couple of laps' time, because I want to run long in this first stint. We're not going to run so long that we're going to go to soft compound tyres, for example, because the tyre wear has been, I think, too harsh for that. What we are going to do is wait for the AI to come in, which they are doing right on cue. Alonso, Hamilton, Verstappen, Carlos Sainz is in. We're gonna react on the next lap. Maybe not next lap, but the lap after. We're just gonna try and do an overcut. We've saved up a bit of our battery. We've saved our tires. Alonso gets jumped by Hamilton in the Mercedes. So looks like Fernando Alonso's day is going from bad to worse here, and that's his championship rival right behind him coming out of the pit lane. So the advantage that Alonso was going to have in this race, he was looking at a race win. He's now barely going to finish on the podium, I think. I think Perez and Norris are going to jump him with an overcut, and now he's got his championship rival right behind him and potentially going to go for an overtake. So Alonso must be absolutely furious at this point. Anyway, the rest of the leaders, the teammates of the leaders, and if anything, the more successful challengers to my throne of P1 at the moment are into the pit lane doing the overcut. Onto the hard compound tyres they go. Webber is in as well. It's a good thing I didn't come in on this lap to disrupt my teammate. He gets a clear run in the pit lane, rejoins on the circuit. I don't think he jumped anyone. I think it's pretty much line as stone for him. But again, another part of the reason why I was backing off ever so slightly is it did hold up some of those guys inside the top 5, 6, 7 and gives my teammate a better chance of fighting his way into the points. Now, it's pit stop time. We're going on to a set of hard compound tyres here. We basically rinsed our battery for all of it was worth on those 2 push laps doing the overcut. And now, hopefully, we're going to be able to retain the lead here. So in we go, onto hard compound tyres. Hopefully a good stop here. Look at the right front tire. There was something going on with that rim because it didn't have any rubber on it. And here's why. Here's the replay. On we go. Is this some kind of weird pit stop error? I don't know. But for a split second, there was no rubber on that tire. We were looking at potentially a DNF if that rubber didn't materialize. But there we go. Another glitch in the F1 22 game. At a moment we could have ill-afforded it, but thankfully it worked as intended, and we do have tyre on rim. Either way, we're away, and we are leading the Grand Prix once more, actually by more of a margin than what we started with before the pit stop. So we've actually beautifully managed the overcuts. Unfortunately, through the middle sector, my tyres are a little bit cold, 84 degrees. It's not cold, but it's not quite an optimal running temperature, which you want to be at over 90 degrees, I'd say. So we're lacking a little bit of pace through the middle sector, through no fault of my own, really, just the tyres coming up to normal operating temps. But from this next lap onwards, I think we should be more on the pace, and we're just fast-forwarding time just to show you guys the, I guess, the yo-yo effect of the gap, how much we pull away through sectors 1, 2, and 3. Sector 2, as you guys know, the AI reel it back in, but then we stretch out the margin again in Sector 3. We are pushing quite hard on this lap to see if we can do a fastest lap of the Grand Prix. That currently belongs to Fernando Alonso. There is our second and hopefully final track limits warning of the Grand Prix. All in an effort to get the fastest lap. So let's see if we have the pace to back up the race position that we are in currently in this race. Alonso is just sinking down the order. Unfortunately for him, just doesn't have the race pace. And there we go. We do have the race pace with a 1 minute 43.5. So bonus point heading our way at the end of this race. But I imagine that fastest lap battle is not over, given we're on the hard compound tyres. And the AI love to go very fast in the last few laps with their battery. So yeah, we'll have to watch out for that and keep our wits about us. But for now, we seem comfortable. We're keeping the margin at about 2 seconds. We're not pushing too hard now at this point. We just want to make sure we can keep the AI out of arm's reach, out of my DRS, but also not make a mistake, which is very easy to do around this racetrack. The Lecombe chicane, very easy to spin, as is the inside curbing at Pouon, which we're coming up to now. I've seen many a spin at that corner, especially online, and now here comes Sergio out of nowhere. We are backing off the pace a little bit, but I feel like the AI have also stepped it up. So interesting times here at the back end of this race. 3 laps to go. We have been charging up our battery. We are going to go for a fastest lap again very soon, but Sergio is making me a little bit nervous here. You can see the straight line speed of us compared to the works Mercedes. I'm sure they're not happy about our straight line speed, given we're running the exact same engine as those guys. Through the last chicane, not close enough to be overtaken by Sergio Perez. Lewis Hamilton's done really well to get onto the podium now, given where he started in this race. But it's a bit of a stalemate for those behind. Sergio can't do anything in a straight line, and we've just got drag reduction for days. It's almost like we've got DRS even when the DRS isn't open. It's really potent. But we set up the car so well for this race to make the most of the straight line speed. We're dealing with the understeer through the corners, and it's not actually costing us that much time. It's looking after our ERS. This is something I'm starting to realize now in co-op career mode. I'm running lower downforce in an effort to, I don't know, make it easier on the ERS to improve my pace. But on a track like this, it really does emphasize how important low downforce is. It's absolutely king. So, yeah, I'm going to try more of this more often, I suppose. Going purple to the first sector, personal best through sector 2. This might be a potential fastest lap heading our way, going into hyperdrive mode through the back straight. That's a new upgrade for this race, which I didn't tell you guys about, but there we go. Out of the last corner, open the no DRS, that would be illegal. We go up into overtake, and we do get a fastest lap before Mick Schumacher retires in the Haas. So, yeah, we've got this race on lockdown, I'd say. 43.0, fastest lap, half a second clear of what I was doing previously, and we're going for another fastest lap. This is back-to-back fastest laps. This time, another 10th quicker, and it is now the end of the Grand Prix. And now we are just bringing it home. For our third, I repeat, third race win of the entire season. And before you say it, we're running 108 difficulty. We can chuck it on 110 and we still would have won this race. I'm saying it now. Out of the last corner, and we have won 3 races in a row on F1 22.
Now we can fight. That's 3 wins in a row, mate. Unbelievable work.
Is there an echo in the building? Either way, 3 wins. Get in there.
A difficult race then on one of the all-time classic circuits, but they've persevered to take the win here today. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of the race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium.
So there we go then, lads. We have won the Belgian Grand Prix, and pretty much at maximum difficulty as well. So I don't know what to say. Even on 110, we would have won that race. We just had pace in our pocket, it seems. It was, I think, mostly down to the setup. That setup was extraordinary. It was able to overcome some of the best teams in Formula One. We are behind some of these guys by, I don't know, the best part of 40 or 50 performance points. But when you've got that much of a straight line speed boost, there's not much those top teams can do. And even with a 110 difficulty, an extra 2 clicks, I think we had more than enough pace to even cover that. We were very, very fast in that race. Actually, Charles Leclerc went even faster. He did a 42.8 on the last lap. So there you go. AI going beast mode with full deployment of ERS. Unfortunately, my teammate Webber unable to get points in this car, which is, I'm going to say it, I think better than what it suggests on the performance index. We are naturally very, very quick. At times, Webber was only 2/10 away from pole. Q1, I think he was 2/10 away. So bottled in qualifying, couldn't get through the pack in a DRS train, and that's the result. No points today. So that's just the state of, well, I'm showing the state of where the car is at. Webber unfortunately dropping the ball today, but we'll bounce back strong in Monza as a team. I know I sound deflated a little bit. I kind of am, because we're still gunning for third in the Constructors, which I think now, if Webber lifts his game, that's a real possibility. If this continues, if we keep winning races, maybe we can fight our way into the top 3. And then from there, it's only another 20 points to winning the Constructors. Do I dare dream of winning a championship this season? The question has to be asked. That is absolutely incredible. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. We head to the Italian... Yes, we head to Italian Grand Prix next. Because we're running a shortened season, we're not running all 23 races. We've elected to ditch the Dutch Grand Prix, unfortunately. Sorry. But straight to Monza. And again, you bet we're going to run minimum downforce setup. This time, though, 110 difficulty. So I can prove all you guys wrong. That's... It's not a case. It's not really many people saying it, but I've seen 1 or 2 people say it over the last couple of videos. The AI difficulty is not too low. Mark's been performing very, very well at times. We've been very evenly matched. He just didn't get a good lap in quali, and that was the difference. The AI do struggle overtaking. So, yeah, Mark, get good. But for us, genuinely, we have a race-winning car. Even though we are like the 4th, 5th best team, there's not much separating us. I think we've got all the good performance upgrades in. I think a lot of other teams have some more either durability or fuel efficiency upgrades, maybe DRS, which makes their car look a lot better than what it actually is. But we've got the upgrades which actually make a real potent, like sizable difference. Like the real performance upgrades, the kind of things that you're going to see actually work well over the course of like 1 lap pace. We're getting there with the the race pace upgrades like tire wear. That's something we've done recently as well. So this car is legitimately capable of winning races, and we're proving it. So it's been incredible. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Thank you for all the support on this series. I really do appreciate it. But let's see if we can kick on from here. A win at the Italian Grand Prix would be absolutely unbelievable. 4 race wins in a row, I think, is almost, I don't know, unthinkable. Let's see if we can do it. Until then, it's goodbye.